Live video is starting, and it says we are live, my friend.
Okay.
It's not about tonight. It's not about Jurgen Klinsmann. It's not just about Bruce Arena. As a whole, U.S. soccer is not prepared. They have not done a good enough job of getting this group ready to play. And keep in mind, the last two Olympics, no United States. Those players that would be playing in the Olympics, 24 through 28, how many of them are in this roster? The players got to be good enough too. So a lot of people on social media right now want to say it's Jurgen Klinsmann's fault, it's Bruce Arena's fault, it's Sunil Gulati's fault. By the way, as an ex-player, every single one of those players,
they can take some
nightmares for the rest of their lives, because this is an utter embarrassment with the amount of money that is in Major League Soccer and in this sport. You can't get a draw, a tie against Trinidad. Max, you don't deserve to go to the World Cup.
They certainly did. And people always say about it's tough to get points here, but I see Mexico get
come
points.
on.
We can stop using that excuse.
Yes.
This is you look at this team, you look at this. They're going to be sitting around next summer, and they're going to be watching this World Cup go on without them. So what does this program do? Is this group,
winter?
Do you blow it up?
This is everything, though, Max. So, because I remind everyone, 2,000 euros, Germany laid an egg, and they all came together. Bundesliga, second Bundesliga, DFB, the German Football Federation, all came together with a 10-year plan. Guess what happened in 10 years? They won that World Cup. If this failure does not wake up everyone from U.S. soccer to Major League Soccer, from pay-to-play to broadcasters to everything, then we're all insane. Because the definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing, knowing the result.
Love it.
It's not
Taylor Twellman was on one there, brother.
Had every right to be at that time.
I know, but you know what, ladies and gentlemen? That music means one thing. Welcome to the Evan and Aaron Show presents the Red, White, and Blue Soccer Chat. See what I did there, brother? See what I did there?
I like that.
Yeah. So we had that intro. Oh my gosh, Aaron, do you remember where you were 5 years ago watching that match and realized that we were going to lose to Trinidad and Tobago?
I'm pretty sure I was watching that game with my dad, probably at their house. So probably with my mom and maybe Amy as well. Probably just sitting around watching us just throw it away, really. And you know that the handful of guys that were there that day that are on this team can now breathe a sigh of relief that, you know, they have not just gotten there, but taken it that one step further that really needs to happen. And I think, you know, we're going to get into, you know, the specifics in these games. But one thing I want to say is, you know, there's been a lot of criticism of Berhalter and this group of players, but they went out there and they got the job done. It wasn't always pretty, and it wasn't the way everybody had hoped it was going to go down. But at the end of the day, they got through, and they did it on a goal from a guy that was there 5 years ago, and I would say has definitely redeemed himself in our eyes.
Man, they did that thing, and you know, like you said, we will dive into it quite a bit tonight, obviously. But you know, let's just welcome everybody. It's Wednesday night.
Welcome.
Here live from our separate studios that we have now incorporated into the show. I still have the USA jersey hanging up back here. You've got all of your accoutrement behind you, my friend. It's good to be a USA soccer fan. It is really good right now to be a USA soccer fan. And the matches that we have played, you know, I wanted to kind of take them one by one and start with, you know, we were together whenever, you know, they played Wales, and, you know, we talked about that match, and I want to move on from that match, and I wanted to go straight to the England match. I want to kind of get your impressions about that match, because in my opinion, that match to me showed the world that United States men's soccer team has evolved into a team where you have to now really you got to prepare for. You can't just
Mhm.
go into the match with the U.S. men's soccer team anymore and just be like, okay, well, they're going to make all the mistakes, and we'll take care of them. That for me, that is long gone now.
Mhm.
And that match kind of proved that. Um, we've got guys who play against Harry Kane, who
Mhm.
play against and with Mason Mount, and Raheem Sterling, and Saka, and all those guys. They play with them, so they know how to address them off the dribble, and in defense. And this is what I want to lead into and let you kind of riff on too, man. Is that it seems like US men's soccer team has not only evolved, but they literally now are on almost a level playing field, not not wholly, not totally as a team, but individual players. I think that you could say that because they have been part of this type of competition in the Premier League, in the Bundesliga, in La Liga, because they're there, they are now getting reps, I guess you could say. They're getting the minutes playing with these top tier athletes. And lo and behold, Aaron, I think we have ourselves some top tier athletes now in the world of
Mhm.
soccer. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think that is what is truly illustrated by that loss and missing out on the 2018 World Cup is that we've been getting there.
Yeah.
We've been doing that for several years now. But when you have such a monumental setback, like missing out on a World Cup, and like Taylor said, missing out on Olympics, which in soccer isn't nearly as big of a deal, but it's still a progression, and it does show you kind of it's a benchmark as to where you are, and we've performed well in previous Olympics. So we did go through this period here where I think a lot of people reverted back to, oh, it's the United States, that sort of thing. They can't even get out of CONCACAF. And what's unfortunate is that overshadowed the fact that, a lot of guys were already getting good reps. But you do touch on a good point. We're at a spot now where we've got not just guys on a team getting minutes, not guys, it was a big deal that Landon Donovan ended up at Everton on loan spells, and he did really, really well, but it was kind of like sort of a lifetime appreciation award sort of thing. Versus now, Weston McKennie is a driving force for Juventus. Christian Pulisic has, at times struggled for minutes with Chelsea this year. I think you could say the same for just about every player in his position at that club right now. None of them have really distinguished themselves, but he gets enough regular starts and is playing in the Premier League. It's a whole other discussion to talk about Chelsea's development vis-a-vis Landon's development and things of that nature. But, or I'm sorry, not Landon, Christian's, but, Timothy Weah getting good minutes for, I believe it's Lyon in the French league. Josh Sargent starting and, scoring goals for fun for Norwich in the championship. And, another thing, as a tangent here, it seems like Americans mock MLS more than foreigners mock the MLS. Like there's very much the MLS guys can't contribute. But you know what? You don't hear Colombians complaining about their guys getting minutes in the MLS. You don't hear other, nationalities shitting on the MLS because it is a good level of professional football. And at the end of the day, it's playing high level on a regular basis. And, if that were the case, then, Brazil couldn't be successful because there's always a handful of guys who have come from the Brazilian league. Nobody talks about that league. So it's not nearly the detriment I think people make it out to be. And it really burns me that it does seem like it's predominantly Americans who do that because, there's, a variety of things, going on around the world. But, not all the Japanese guys play in Italy or Germany or the Premier League. They got several homegrown guys that are still playing, and they're having success. South Korea, I mean, it's kind of gotten old, in my opinion, and it tells me those people really don't fully grasp. I mean, do I want all our Americans playing for the biggest clubs in the world? Yes, I do. I absolutely do. But to automatically discount somebody just because they play in the MLS, I think is very short-sighted. But back to your go ahead.
No. I was going to say about the MLS. I wanted to also say this and throw this out there for you. I mean, I think the MLS is comparable to the Champions League. And, we're not quite Premier League.
Championship
League. Or the championship. We're not quite the Premier. But you know what? Hey, that second tier, I think we could hold our own as a league compared to the championship.
I would like to think so, yeah. I would definitely like to think so. But yeah, I mean, we do have these players now, and it's nice that the world's getting to see how valuable Tyler Adams is, how valuable Weston McKennie is, what Matt Turner is evolving into. And I just read this today. Matt Turner didn't start playing soccer until he was in high school. He's like the Tim Duncan of soccer. I'm going to start this late and learn it and then dominate the game. So that's just fabulous. But you look, I mean, there were so many good performances from players all over the field. I want to talk about how good Walker Zimmerman and Tim Ream have been together. And yes, it was nice to see Cameron Carter-Vickers come in yesterday. I'm not really sure why they made that decision, but the back line really has done a great job, right? Gave up one goal over the course of 3 matches, and that was from the penalty spot, which, that's really the only, footstep that Zimmerman has made wrong, because he played so well. And Ream, finally coming back into the fold after being out for so long is just tremendous as well. So I was really excited to see that.
Ream is showing why he's back. He's putting in really, really quality minutes. Zimmerman, I'm tired. Like I want to just shut out all of the wannabe U.S. men's national team like Facebook sites that I'm on, because you've got people out there. Oh, Zimmerman gave up, that goal against Gareth Bale and blah blah. He fouled. I'm like, you know what? Look, that happens. How many times do we have to say this is the second youngest team in the World Cup right now? They're going to make errors. They're going to make mistakes. But the beauty about being young is when you make errors and make mistakes, you still have legs and you still have raw determination to try and make up for those errors and mistakes. And the U.S. provided themselves so many opportunities, not only at the end of the Wales match, but also throughout the England match. Now, England really pressed at the end. They really did. But we were able to hold on, and we were able to say, okay, look, if we get this point, we're setting ourselves up for a winnable match. We're setting ourselves up for a winnable match against Iran. And by the way, I said it the right way, and so did Tyler Adams. I don't know if you saw that interview, but it was incredible because, the class that these guys have, the desire they have, the honor for the game, like they are playing worthy to be there, and that speaks volumes. The way that they embraced the Iranian players at the end of the match, the way that they literally just showed all kinds of respect for not only the Welsh team but also the England team, the English team. I love these guys, and I love how they're representing us. But in that England match, my friend, that was a winnable match. We had opportunity after opportunity, especially early on, like that mid-range first half. We had several opportunities. McKennie, it was like when. Oh, and by the way, can we talk about Dest? where the hell did he come from? My man is playing ball.
Ooh, we are going to really have a difference of opinion.
No. Like the guy,
yeah, he finally came good in this game against Iran, but that first game he was really erratic.
Wait, because you and I both watched that game and we did say Des was erratic. But like I said, where did he come from? Like he has really pulled it together. The guy is recovering well. He's covering for people who's getting beat. He's servicing the ball into the box and created Pooley's goal. The guy's playing great, but
he played better in the third game.
That England match, I know we've made it through, but I know Weston McKennie is like, oh, please let us meet them again, because if I had that same ball served to me, it happened. I mean, right? I mean,
that ball got on him in a hurry. That's, to me, that's, I'm not even sure I'd show it in the highlights. I'd say the U.S. had some chances, and that was probably the best one, and that tells you what that was like. Chances were really at a minimum. Maybe if that falls to somebody else, not that Weston can't score goals, but that, right. I'd rather see him on the end of a header or something like that. But maybe if that ball's fallen to Pooley or to Haji in that particular moment, he might be able to put that away. But I mean, yeah, it's a half chance, and yeah, he wishes he could have it back.
Right.
But I think that game was also, we played Wales, who really want to do what we do, which is sit back, let the other team have the ball, and play on the counterattack, and hopefully that the last guy touching the ball is Gareth Bale. Then you play against a team like England, and it's the exact opposite. They're going to possess the ball the whole time, which actually suits us, so we can sit back and play the counterattacking game. And England want to play passes, right? They want to get on that ball and move it around, which gives you opportunities to steal the ball and create transition moments. And then you go back to Iran, who, basically reverting back to how we needed to play against Wales. We're going to have the possession of the ball a lot more, and Iran actually doesn't need to do anything. Right, they didn't need to come out, and I think that's what I'm disappointed in, is that they needed to get a goal in that second half, and we didn't figure out a way to kill them. Mm-hmm. But now we're going to go back to play against the Netherlands, and that's going to be more like the England match, as far as we're not going to see the ball quite as much, which I think suits us just fine. We play that counter. I agree. And the Netherlands are a different prospect. I think they're a little bit more open at the back. So if we can really create some transitional moments, we can get at them. I'm anxious to see. Given the way he got injured and how you recover from those things, I have a feeling Pulisic is probably going to dress, but I doubt he starts against the Netherlands, which maybe gives an opportunity for Aronson to start from the beginning, and then you can run that sort of, I don't know that I would go all out press on Holland, because they spread out a lot more, and could really open us up a bit. But again, I think their weak spot would be defensive transition, and I think we could hit them there.
So here's what I'm going to say about the Holland match. And as far as the England match is concerned, yes, I really do think that's where we established ourselves as, say, hey guys, we're here and we're ready to play. The Iran match, just scrappy. I mean, it's an incredibly scrappy performance by the United States. Lin-Manuel Miranda, hey, scrappy just like my country. That's exactly what they did. I mean, they must have listened to that on their their earbuds before they came out. But they fought so hard in that. But as we look at the Netherlands, once again, I think that this group of players, this group of Eagles, or baby Eagles, they've played against Virgil van Dijk. They know how the defense works. They know how he moves, because literally, if you can get past Van Dijk, I mean, like you said, I think it can open up for that counter attack. And so I would hope that they would be able to draw from their experience of playing in the Premier League, and those people who aren't in the Premier playing in the Champions League, if they had a chance to play Liverpool, they know how Van Dijk operates. Because I really think that if you can get past him, we've got a really good shot at this match. I'm not sure that we could have pulled a better matchup for us. It's either going to be it's either going to be a huge letdown because and I hope this isn't where we're going, and I don't think Berhalter will let it happen. It's either going to be like, hey, we're happy to be here, or it's going to be laser focus. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that. It's going to be laser focus. We're going to go in and we're going to expect to walk off that pitch with a W.
Mm-hmm.
That's
there's no other way to approach the match, and I think even teams that no one gives a chance to, that is your mindset. That's how you walk out onto the field at this level of play. I don't care if you're even a Qatari player, knowing that you're most likely going to get your asses handed to you. You still go out believing we can win this match. We've trained for it. Now, once you get out there and things don't go, maybe you get a little drop in your gut. But, that's only happened to a couple teams. I mean, I feel really bad for Canada because I thought they played some really, really good stuff. And I think it just finally took its toll on them the other day in that game.
In Mexico today, oh my gosh, I was pulling for him, man. I was like, dang, I want to see as many teams make it as possible. I do. And I know they're a rival. I totally get it. But
I just think it's funny that they basically are eliminated by the fact that they committed too many fouls.
I know. Oh man. So talk to me about this last match. Let's break it down a little bit more. Iran. I did not like the frantic. I think you had said it earlier in the fact that we haven't yet learned how to kill off a game.
Yeah,
we haven't yet learned how to kill off a match, and I don't want to give them the name of my favorite NFL team, but boy, these are cardiac kids. If you if you watch this team. And this is what I'm afraid we're going to see throughout the tournament for however far they go. It is going to be, oh my God, why is there so much stoppage time? Let's not have so much stoppage time. But what did you see in the Iran match that gives you caution? And what did you see that kind of gives you hope that the U.S. is finally starting to gel?
I don't have a lot of fears. I was really pleased about how the defense performed in all three matches. I mean, they have to get, A+ 5-star ratings for just about everything when it comes to the defensive side of the ball and the way they played. If we have shortcomings, it's that Anthony Robinson has no idea how to put a good service into the box. I remember watching him in person while they played, want to say maybe Costa Rica back in January in a World Cup qualifier.
Columbus?
It was over in Columbus and it was freezing cold. Beautiful stadium, by the way. But you could see it. It's just, I love that he's good defensively. And he occasionally gets forward and he does put in a decent ball, but he's out there and they give it to him so much that so many services are just really, really poor. And I think Dest for me has been a bit up and down, and he is better going forward than he is on the defensive side of the ball. I'm wondering if he might get pushed further forward and then bring in Yedlin as just, a steady, stable, defensive back. But
how are Yedlin's legs? That's the thing. I mean, dude.
He's not there to just make up the numbers, man.
Well, I know. No. I get that. But
and he's not played that many minutes in this World Cup, so
he should be fresh.
If at all, he should be fresh.
Okay.
But what pleases me, what has me excited, is that Pulisic especially has found some joy kind of in between the lines, running at teams.
Yeah.
And there will be spaces on the field against Holland. And, we've talked on other shows about how this Virgil van Dijk doesn't look quite the same as previous versions. He can be beat off the dribble. You know, it was the big deal. Nobody beats. No, he can be beaten now, and he can fall asleep occasionally. I'm not disparaging the guy. This is what happens to everybody as you get a little bit older. But the sight of a healthy Christian Pulisic, and again, knock on wood, he's got to recover from injury, but the sight of a healthy Christian Pulisic or, you know, a speedy Weah running directly at that back line, that makes me happy. And, you know, goals got to go in at some point. You know, they've really created a lot of opportunities, and they created opportunities against England. You know, they weren't as clear as they would have liked, but they created some opportunities. And if you can do that against England, I think you're going to be able to do it against Holland. You look at what Ecuador did to them with that press. I think the United States kind of do something similar, and they're going to, these guys are going to be up. These guys are going to be jacked way the hell up for this match.
And, you know, with Weah, you know, the first match against Wales, I didn't see aggressive runs from him. I did not see him aggressively running in the box, other than obviously, you know, the incredible chip that he scored. That was wonderful, but I didn't see it then. I started to see it in England. Boy, you saw him aggressively attacking in that Iran match, partially because, we've got to win this one. But boy, when he attacks in the box, he draws at least two or three defenders. So basically, somebody can come in and literally, clean up. I'm excited about that.
But the problem,
he's good.
The problem with the Wales match is that there just wasn't going to be all that much space in behind, and we scored the one time there was. You know, Pulisic again dribbling between the lines, causing confusion, brings people over. That now creates the space for Weah to run into. If Pulisic isn't able to do that, that doesn't happen. You know, it's not like they're just going to be sitting waiting on that ball. And you know, you look at Dest making that overlap for McKennie's ball that ultimately Pulisic scored on. That's the kind of stuff that we're going to have to figure out how to do if teams are going to pack it in. But I don't think we have to worry about that. The Netherlands is going to come to play.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a comment from Vince. Vince, how you doing, brother? Go Timbers. Vince says Weah had some sloppy touches towards the end of the Iran game. Well, yeah, because the guy was gassed. You know, they all were gassed, and I think that once again, second youngest team in the world.
Well, but then,
well, no. I'm not saying from a physical standpoint. Think about it too, Aaron. You know this. I mean, what did Yogi Berra say? He said baseball is 50% physical and 60% mental or something.
Mental, yeah, something like that. Yeah,
something like that. This is also a mentally challenging and draining game. I mean, you have to be on. You have to constantly be thinking where you're at. And so, yeah, he's going to have some touches go astray here and there. But I would still trust Tim Weah in the 89th, 90th, 91st, 92nd minute.
Yeah, I guess all I'll say is this. Tim Weah is a professional. He's not some young kid. He plays for Celtic. He's already played for other big clubs. He understands the moment. I think the more concerning thing is that, there were a lot of opportunities, and I actually had this discussion with somebody at the bar watching the game. Some of their first touches really put them in bad places. Like, we would really have opportunities to get on the front foot. Again, I go back to Anthony Robinson. Just sometimes he's so excited to do things that he really had opportunities to, get the ball out in front of him and get a cross in, and instead his touch really, really let him down. Weah has, played pretty much, I think, a full 90 in both matches, and maybe he did come off in the first one late. But that's a lot of minutes. It is. And I think that is an area where Berhalter has struggled a bit, is his in-game management, guys to bring on. I think he's gotten the tactics right from the outset, and I think the results show that, but he's not the best in-game guy. But I don't know how much I'd have done different. I think, unless there's something going on with Gio Reyna, I probably would have figured out how to have him in more. And I think Aronson probably deserves a little bit more, but I can't say I'd have made too many other huge changes. There obviously was a reason to mix it up with bringing Cameron Carter-Vickers in over Zimmerman. You know, maybe the analytics said he needs a rest or something like that, or Berhalter just viewed it as a better matchup. I don't know. But, you know, we've got this opportunity to take a breather before we play again on Saturday. And, you know, I think it's a good matchup. You know, like you said, of all the teams that we could potentially be playing, you know, as far as group winners, I'm not seeing a whole lot of other people that I'd have chosen instead. You know, I'm not sure I really want to run into Argentina right as they're trying to figure things out. Certainly don't want France or Belgium at the moment. I mean, that said, yeah, it's a knockout tournament. You know, starting yesterday, this became a true knockout tournament. It's win or go home, and you've got to show up with that mentality. So, you know, hopefully these guys are getting G'd up for it. I mean, I don't know what else you'd be doing, you know.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, what that does is that brings us to our halftime of the show. And for those of you who may just be joining us, which, you know what, hey, we hit 400 followers on Facebook the other day, man. Congratulations. That's all good stuff. Now if we can just get some money and retire off this.
And we're not asking you people for money. We're asking to be monetized.
Right. Yeah, that's like a federal offense.
A sponsor or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Exactly.
The last guy just publicly did it every time he went on TV.
So my halftime shot, and this is why I have this glass, my friend, goes out to Captain America. Unfortunately, I don't have a Captain America shot glass, but he did play Superman for us by sacrificing body for country. So Christian Pulisic, I know you're watching, and
he'll hear about it. His handlers get it to him.
Yeah, there you go. Man, thank you for instilling that pride and that drive in the guys, and I think that's going to take us a long way. So to CP, thank you, man.
Right on. And mine is for some folks closer to home. I've said it before, I'll say it again, but as ever, the great cast and crew of Chatham Tap Fishers have taken care of us for every match. I'm sure the same is going on downtown and at the Butler location. Really just phenomenal to be able to, you know, see the crowd. By the way, I filmed yesterday. I used the little the GoPro or whatever and filmed it. So as soon as I figure out how to clip it, there will be a shot of some very happy U.S. national team fans going berserk in the bar. So big shout out and thank you to the folks at Chatham Tap Fishers. Love you guys. Appreciate it. And CP, get us another.
Slanty. So I need to say this too. For all of you Gallipolis, Ohio peeps out there that may stumble on this, there's a few of you who watch and interact. I need to know where I need to go to watch the match on Saturday morning. Hopefully the B-Dubs there is open early so that we can watch the freaking match, because I've got to go home this weekend, brother. But I'm telling you what, if I can find a place, I think you and I need to do a back and forth.
All right.
I can do it on location in Gallipolis, Ohio. So for all you Gallipolis, Ohio peeps out there, please hit me up. Let me know where they are showing the match on Saturday morning, because boy, I tell you, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. And I think USA men's national team is going to make history again. I think they're going to make history again.
Is everybody in Gallipolis gathered around the old Victrola to listen to us?
Well, here's the thing too. Is the place where we watch, I may have to go like this with the rabbit ears and fix the foil and like
stand in the corner and hold your arm in the air at a certain angle. Yeah.
So, Aaron, let's see our good old spreadsheet, my friend.
Yes. Let's bring it up. So, you know, we're not doing too bad. Your optimism for Qatar let you down. It let you down. And I'll be honest, I made my Senegal pick before I knew Sadio Mane was going to be injured, but they have managed to do all right without him. I thought Ecuador played really, really well, but Qatar was definitely a long shot there. So I appreciated your optimism. We got Group B completely correct with England and USA. I don't think anybody's really too shocked by that. I think if we could take a minute, did you see any of the England-Wales match?
Oh, I did not, but boy.
Marcus Rashford, baby.
Rashy. Did he have a brace?
Yes. Yeah, he had 2 goals. One of them was a free kick, and it was just a belter. Just an absolute screamer. Yeah. Yeah. Really good game from him.
Nice.
And then I think Foden came on, and everybody's like, "Where's Phil Foden?" And he comes on and scores a goal. I'm pretty sure it was him. I have to take
wow. Okay.
Then we've got Group C, Argentina, after looking like things were not going to go great for them, managed to actually top the group. And your pick of Poland was correct, although it really didn't have a whole lot to do with goals or with Lewandowski's goals. Really came down more to other factors in the group, but Poland won't care. Wojciech Szczesny with some massive saves. Maybe... You know, everybody calls Ronaldo Penaldo because he takes penalties and everybody thinks it's so easy. But Messi doesn't seem to have the best track record, especially in some of these high-profile matches. I know he missed one against Chile years ago in the Copa America. There's no diss on Messi, folks. Sometimes guys just make saves on you. But I guess I'm more defending Ronaldo for the Penaldo stuff because if it were that easy, everybody could do it. It's not easy.
Stop on Portugal when you get there for a minute, but go ahead.
And then France, I think, have not been quite as dominating as we were expecting them to be. You know what? I'm not sharing my screen, so nobody knows exactly what the hell it is I'm talking about. Let's share.
France, today, France. I mean, it was subs pretty much all around. I think 5 guys that were on the bench started today.
Yeah, they made several changes, and I was unfortunately in meetings and doing work and stuff like that today, the way I get paid. So didn't really get a chance to watch much of that at all.
Is that how it works?
But Denmark, it's disappointing. One, from the whole Christian Eriksen perspective and the feel good factor of that. But more importantly, I thought at times they played really well, and kind of much like the United States, just some of those goals weren't coming. And I think this is becoming a problem for some teams. We hop to the next group. That seems to be a bit of an issue, for Germany struggling to find their feet. I think we're both going to be wrong on at least one here because I have a feeling Spain's going through. Let me do a quick check here and see where they are in the standings.
I think Spain.
Pick it up. And then, so Spain, Japan, Costa Rica, and then Germany. So and anybody could get out of that group. Anybody can get out of this group. But you've got Germany taking on Costa Rica now. And Spain taking on a Japan side that has looked pretty good, in my opinion. Yep. So I think we might be good here for Japan going through in second, and we apparently overlooked yet another good Spain side. Over here in Group F, boy, these guys are just beating each other up. I think Croatia is going through, and there's a big question mark over Belgium right now. They are just not gelling. I know it was probably a little tongue-in-cheek from Kevin De Bruyne about how old they are, but they do look like they are struggling a bit. I thought that first match took them a while to get going, and then they finally got over, but really haven't looked all that great since.
No. I thought when they brought in Big Rom, I thought Rom might make a difference, but boy, I mean, just didn't do.
He's just not played enough. I think the question mark is the guy really truly healthy? He's certainly not match fit.
Right.
We move over to Group G. It's also still open, though. Most likely Brazil's going through as the winner in spot 1 there because of their goal differential. I think it would take an awful lot for that to be overcome, but anything could happen. And then you've got Portugal's the top of their group. And let's switch back over. So Portugal's at the top of their group, but it's
Cristiano Ronaldo scored every goal that Portugal has made so far. I mean, he's amazing.
Hey man, goal scorers claim all goals. I guarantee you, Thierry Henry's like, yeah, man. If I felt a hair follicle touch that, I'm claiming it. I saw him.
Man.
I saw him claim a goal that Ashley Cole did all the work, dribbled through a whole bunch of people, steps inside into the 18 and took a shot, and it accidentally hit Thierry Henry's heel and went in. And he pointed at his heel and ran away claiming the goal. Like, oh yeah, I totally meant to do that. So I guarantee you, Cristiano said I felt a little bit of a hair gel move, and that's definitely my goal. But
my product,
look,
the product was not there on that spot. That's what it was. Yeah.
I'm gonna say this right now though. Manchester United guys are balling out at this tournament so far.
Well, okay, I was going to say that, but you also got to give love to the Chelsea fellas too. I mean,
no, but
you got Mendy. They put their people through.
I'm repping this side.
Yeah, absolutely, yes, Bruno. I tell you what, it's interesting because you said it with Harry Maguire. You said it with Harry Maguire. When these guys put on that national team kit, there is a different side that comes out to them. It's almost like Bruno now, because he's playing for Portugal, can play with Ronaldo. It's not that much pressure because everybody else on the team feels that same pressure. So he's able to spread it out a little bit.
Yeah, more. Maybe.
I don't know what that is, but boy, he's been on fire. The guy's been looking good. Rashi's on form.
Casemiro for Brazil with that goal.
Casemiro,
whoa.
I mean, this is what I'm saying. That's
Fred.
That's why I'm talking about Brazil, man. I mean, and the anchor of Brazil, good old Thiago Silva, man.
Well, everybody's talking about, this might be Neymar's last World Cup. This might be Ronaldo's last World Cup. This is going to be Thiago Silva's last World Cup.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
That guy could be lifting a trophy. And I believe this is his fifth. And what a career. Just honestly, you look through that team and they are beginning to pull away, in my mind, as tournament favorites, just from what I've seen.
Yeah.
And the fact that,
the bench,
you feel like at any given moment they could just absolutely sweep a team aside, but they're patient. It took them a while to break things down the other day against Serbia, but ultimately they did. And then you're like, oh my God, how bad is it going to get, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think they're capable of it. They're kind of like what happens when City get going. They get a little scary, and they very much have an attitude of, I don't care if you score, which I don't think anybody's scored on them yet. So that's going to be another interesting thing, what they've got. Switzerland, correct?
Yeah.
So
just locked down, dude. I mean, just locked down. Yeah, man. I mean, as we go through that, it's amazing to see the teams that have come through and the teams that we still don't know yet. That group with Japan and Belgium, in Germany, we just don't know. We don't know.
Your boy Hakim Ziyech might be able to do some miracle work for Morocco too. I mean, that they're alive and you've got them picked. So I think really that tomorrow's going to be fun from that perspective. Yes. In my opinion, there's going to be some really fun matchups going on tomorrow.
How about the African teams, man, just coming to the World Cup and showing up and playing? Who would have thought Ghana would still be in the conversation? Who would have thought that Morocco still would be in the conversation? Because we didn't even know if Hakim Ziyech was going to be there or not.
Right.
We didn't know. Senegal, yes, they had Edouard Mendy. Yes, they had Koulibaly. But in my opinion, I didn't hear a lot of people giving them a chance. And my God, those guys, if it shows anything, and I think this should excite anyone in the U.S. And I say the U.S. because we're the last ones to really embrace this beautiful game wholly. If it's any indication, the parity that now is developing across the world, this should be something that we celebrate. Like, this should be something that excites you. That it's not always the Spain, France, Germany, England. It's not just them. Like, there are teams coming after them, and I'm telling you, we're one of them.
Yeah,
We're
absolutely. I think the gap has been getting slowly narrowed for a couple decades now. I mean, Ghana has a good history at the World Cup, and I think what's amazing to see is, well, that gap has been closed. What those big countries do to continue elevating themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a Brazil side that decided to bring 9 strikers to the tournament. They're not hiding their hand. They're telling you straight up what they intend to do to you. And they can back it up. I don't know if anybody thought necessarily Richarlison was going to be, the breakout player of this tournament.
Wow.
But I think for those of us who watch closely, you knew it could be expected. I think we're waiting for whoever that next guy is going to be, because that's what I love about these major international tournaments is there's always somebody who's been a little on the fringe who's about to make it their moment. Maybe that's Marcus Rashford, a guy who's been kind of on the edge, and had some setbacks over the last 2 years. That'd be great. But maybe it's Bruno's coming out party for Portugal. Taking the mantle from Ronaldo. It's definitely Mbappe, what he has done so far. You're almost not shocked by it, but then you see what he does and you're like, no, I'm still shocked because this guy's just so fantastic. I mean, he's really just been monumental. I love these tournaments. I love this. I wanted to say this time of year but it's not this time of year only because it's when the World Cup is. But I love the World Cup.
I want to ask you about that before we go into the Hey Aaron segment. For me, I'm actually enjoying it being during this time. And here's why, is because during the holidays, it just, I don't know. It's a different feel. Like, it's a different feel. And it just, I don't know. It makes it, I don't know. It just makes it special in a different way. I'm not saying it's better, but I'm actually enjoying it being around this time of year.
I have not found it as annoying as I thought I was going to, because the reality is that whether it's in the summer or the winter, if it's halfway around the world like it is, it's still going to, be competing with, my job and things of that nature.
Right.
But it's also kind of neat, the 5 a.m. games, that was a little tough, but it's been pretty cool for this past week to like get up, start up my computer, put the game on in the background. I can have the sound on and just kind of listen and kind of pop over the monitor and kind of check things out. And then, take a little break, and then you're like, oh, it's lunchtime for the 11 o'clock game, and, check that out. And then, nice little afternoon kind of, hey, I don't have any meetings. I can get it cut out earlier. You know what? I'm going to pop on the couch for a half hour and watch a little bit of this match kind of thing.
Sure.
It is kind of nice. It is kind of nice. It's going to be interesting to see how they schedule things in 2026 to see who they're going to try to accommodate the most when it comes to those games. But yeah, I love it.
Yeah. What's been interesting too about this is that I've had students in my office, like, after I got done teaching, it's like, hey, I'm going to be watching matches. Do you want to? Yeah, sure. I've had a couple students in my office come and watch a match, and it fosters this sense of, hey, let's talk. It's a community type thing. Colleagues have said, hey, I want to watch a match with you. I'm like, hey, all right, cool. Come on, let's watch a match. And so it's this time of year, I think we just feel more, community type driven, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think what this has done is it's introduced the United States in a way to soccer that we really haven't done before. We really haven't embraced it. I forget who I heard say this, but it's like, before we used to, most Americans used to turn TV on every 4 years and expect to see us in the World Cup. And when we turn it on in 2018, it's like, oh, what? We didn't make it? But this time, it's amazing because the U.S. England match, the highest highest number of people in the United States, that's the number one match that anybody's ever watched. And then the USA Iran match, I haven't got the numbers for that one yet, but I'm sure it's right up there. So it's
Yeah.
growing. This sport is becoming more and more popular here, and it's not just because kids play it on Saturday mornings and we have to go and get, cut up oranges and take, juice boxes. It's a legit sport that is truly becoming part of the fabric.
Mhm.
And I hope that it continues to become part of the fabric of who we are as America, because it makes us global. It doesn't keep us, it doesn't
Mhm.
make us so nationalistic where we're the only ones playing this sport and so we're the best. It's like, no,
Mhm.
we're competing against the world and the world's competing against us and we're part of that
Mhm.
world. And so to me, I'm going to get off my soapbox and I'm going to let you do your thing, but that's just where I'm at with it, man. I love this sport too. I love it. Absolutely love it. So
He's new, everybody.
shall
You know
we
what?
go on?
Well, I just want to kind of piggyback on your topic because, for those folks out there, Evan's a history professor, and vocal and front and center on, minority issues and activism and things of that nature. And, there is a political side of the World Cup, and there always is, and there's especially one at this particular venue. And I think it's an opportunity. It's a jumping off point to sit here and watch a soccer match getting played, and to be able to, have a safe conversation about, some of these issues. And there's pushback. The Iranian guy I thought was a little aggressive with his questioning, but if people are going to want to talk about rainbow armbands and the other issues that are existing in Qatar, and those are valid, then it's perfectly acceptable to say, well, wait a second, who are you to make these comments? And I think the answer to that question is people who are aware that those issues are happening and would shine a spotlight on them regardless. I don't think it's hypocrisy as an American to say, hey, there are concerns about hosting a World Cup here, but I have to be willing to have the conversation of, well, wait a second, you've got, an aircraft carrier parked off the coast of somebody's country, or you don't have the greatest track records in the history of your country. And I would just say those are correct. And as long as we're all doing this in the spirit of trying to improve, I acknowledge the US's failures. It's a good way to have a conversation with people and say, yeah, we could all do better. Right now, the flashlight of the world, the flashlight is on Qatar, and they asked for it. They paid for it, and this comes with it. This is like being a celebrity or what have you. You're going to have to sit there and answer some tough questions. Like you said, Tyler Adams showed maturity well beyond his years in handling that question. And, I love the World Cup because it does bring people together. And one way of doing that is having those tough conversations. So cheers to that.
Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight's kind of different. I'm going to combine the Hey Aaron segment and Aaron's final thoughts into one. Yeah, I know. And it's
a new one.
Yeah. It's kind of simple, but it's kind of complex. Hey, Aaron.
Yeah.
Why don't you send us out with how far do you really think the United States can go in this tournament? And as far as the final thought part, what does that mean for us as Americans?
Well, let me get to a bracket so I could see who our potential opponents would be. All right, so I see a path. Group E first versus Group E second. What did I say? Group E first versus Group E. So if Spain win their group, I see a path to the semifinal. I think we can beat the Netherlands. I think it will take a very disciplined approach to it, and I think it's going to require some finishing, because I don't think one goal is going to be enough to beat the Netherlands. I just don't. I think they got goals in them, and our guys need to keep their heads. Just giving up a goal doesn't mean we necessarily have to lose a game. We can fight back, but I think we're going to need multiple to get through. I know this sounds crazy, but the matchup after that's the winner of Argentina and Australia, and I don't think Australia is going to win, but I think Australia is going to show everybody that Argentina is not going to win the World Cup. And I think the U.S. could really figure out a way to put together a performance, especially give them the ball, get physical with them, and hit them on the counterattack. The only problem is I think very clearly Louis van Gaal intends to play Lisandro Martinez from now on, the butcher of now Manchester, and boy, that dude's just amazing. So that would be hard to get through, and I'm but I think we could get to the semifinals, at which point I think we're running into a red hot Spain team, and I just don't see a way through them. But I tell you, if we mastermind a way through the Netherlands and then Argentina, you can't be afraid of anybody you play after that.
Yeah,
you really can't. So I think that's the upside. If you ask me to put money on the match, I'd put some money on the USA for my heart, but I'd also put some money on the Netherlands to probably win. I'm gonna guess maybe 2-0, 2-1. I don't think that would be a horrible result. It'll depend on the performance. We've talked about this a lot with Manchester United and Chelsea. Sometimes you can lose in a good way, and if they can go out there and they really get after it and put pressure on, and you just lose because the Netherlands are the Netherlands and have some guys that other countries don't have. Cody Gakpo is really going off right now. He's going to look real nice in a Manchester United jersey. But they can hurt you with so many other ways, because a guy that used to wear the Manchester United jersey is probably going to get more minutes in Memphis Depay. They can really hurt you from a lot of places. A guy that should be wearing a Manchester United jersey, and Frankie de Jong got a goal and assist the other day. So they really, really can hurt you. But there's a way through. There's a way through. I think the worst case scenario would be to get drubbed. A 3-0 would be bad. A 3-0, 4-0 kind of thing where the floodgates just really open up. Because what do? There's no plan for tomorrow. You're not just trying to amass points over a 38 game season. You've got to go for it. So my heart says the U.S. can win it. My head tells me it's probably the Netherlands, and they're going to do the business. But that's why we play the game, and there will be no shame. I think what we touched on earlier today, what it means for the United States, is it puts us back where we belong on the world stage. I believe as one of the top, 10 to 15 countries in the world. We've got, the one of the coolest things is, because this is the youngest team in the tournament, think about how good some of these guys are going to be in 4 years.
Absolutely.
Who's Weston McKennie going to be starting at central midfield for in 4 years? Where's Christian Pulisic going to be in 4 years? Who's Timothy Weah going to be scoring goals for in 4 years? Does Matt Turner own the goalkeeping job at Arsenal in 4 years? There's so much to look forward to. I don't want to look that far ahead, because Netherlands is a winnable match, but that's what it means for the United States is we're back where we belong, and we're on the upward trajectory.
My man, hit that theme music, brother, because it is time for us to land this plane. Thank you all so much. Please make sure you are in front of some type of TV at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock on Saturday.
Yes.
For that U.S.-Netherlands match. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here at the Evan and Aaron Show presents the Red and the Blue Soccer Chat.
Smash that like button, subscribe, comment. We're all over the place. Anchor, Spotify. We're coming in at just under an hour, so we'll get on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. See you out there, folks. Love you. Bye-bye.
Black people vote. Georgia.
Hashtag say gay.